Liberate IT is an Oracle NetSuite solution provider that has been servicing Australian and New Zealand companies since 2011.
Well, thank you everyone for giving up an hour or so of your morning to be here with us today for the webinar From On-Premise to the Cloud. My name's Jenna. I'm a business specialist here at Liberate IT. What my day involves is talking to people and organisations like yourselves who are currently using on-premise solutions such as Greentree, and really just starting to open up that conversation about investigating what the world could look like when moving over to a cloud-based ERP software. I'm also joined today by Paul Matthews, who is one of our senior solution consultants here at Liberate IT. So Paul brings with him a wealth of knowledge. He has worked both implementing and consulting from on-prem solutions, and then also moved over to the right side of the road or the fence, I guess, and has also done the same thing but for the cloud. So we're going to be hearing from Paul today around the reasons why organisations should start looking at the very least of moving to the cloud, some of the limitations about on-premise solutions and what the future actually can hold. We're also lucky to be joined by the lovely Claire Harney and Aaron Bell. They are from ToolWare. So ToolWare is one of our customers here at Liberate IT, and they have gone through that exact transformation or journey. So ToolWare were previously using Greentree and have recently moved over to NetSuite. So we're lucky to hear from them today, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, about what that journey actually looks like and what it entails. As we all know, change can be quite a daunting thing. So we're going to discuss kind of breaking down what they were looking for when they started that journey, both as a software and also as an implementation partner. So I also want to make this webinar as interactive as possible. I don't want to be sitting here for 40 minutes kind of talking at you guys. So please feel free to put any questions that you may have in the little question box at the side there, and I'll check that regularly throughout the webinar and answer those questions as we go along. So first of all, I'd like to just jump into a quick agenda or an outline of what we're going to be talking about today. So we'll do some brief introductions just so you know who we all are. And then we're going to actually have a look at the current state. So the current state will be kind of what you guys are currently using, what your day-to-day looks like, what the organisation looks like using an on-premise solutions. And Paul's going to actually talk around some of the pain points or the frustrations that you might be having within the organisation. And then we're going to jump into the time machine and have a look at the future. And the future being using cloud-based ERP such as NetSuite, what that's going to allow your role and your organisation to do, whether that be just making your role a lot more fluid or growing the organisation. From there, we're then going to jump over to our customer panel, and we've got some great questions to ask Aaron and Claire from ToolWare. So first of all, I guess a good place to start is talking about Liberate IT. So who on earth are we? Why are we here talking to you today? Do we have any credibility? So Liberate IT, we have been a trusted partner in Australia and New Zealand for NetSuite since formation back in 2011. In fact, we actually only support NetSuite and implement NetSuite. We don't do any other software, and that was done intentionally. It's because we actually really truly believe that NetSuite is the best ERP software out there for not just your larger organisations, but for small and medium organisations as well. So we're a 5-star partner. We've been awarded that 5-star award for 3 years in a row. That's not just us kind of blowing our own trumpet of how wonderful we are, but I really wanted to highlight to you guys that we know what we're talking about here. We've kind of been through it all, seen it all, and it's just nice to have that recognition to support that. We also were recently, in the past couple of weeks, been awarded from NetSuite the JPAC Customer Service Excellence Award. That is massive to us. The reason being is everything that we do here at Liberate, both internally and externally, we always have the heart of the customer at every kind of decision-making thing that we do. So we're always wanting to put the customer first, making the right decisions by the customer, and to be recognised for that is just wonderful. So as I said, we've been a dedicated NetSuite partner, solely focusing on implementing and training NetSuite, and we have a large team of specialists. So we also walk the walk. We don't just talk the talk. We use NetSuite here at Liberate for our CRM and our finances and everything in between. And we're also 100% remote. So we don't have an office. Everyone works from home here at Liberate. And I guess that just goes to kind of show that the flexibility that working in the cloud can really allow your organisation to have. So we've got over 130 customers now, both in New Zealand and Australia. And they're all ranging in size. So we work with some smaller organisations, some medium-sized, and also a few larger enterprises. And that's the thing with NetSuite, is that it actually caters for all types of organisations. A lot of people hear ERP, Oracle, NetSuite, and think, oh, no, that's a bit enterprisey for us. But that's the beauty. It's so customisable that it can really benefit those smaller to medium organisations as well. The verticals and industries vary. So we've got customers from real estate to manufacturing, through to professional services, and everything in between. So as I said, we've seen it all. There kind of isn't a business problem that we can't solve. So yeah, that's just a general little overview of Liberate. So now you know who the business is. I guess it's good for us to introduce who you're actually talking to. So as I briefly said, my name's Jenna. I'm a business specialist here at Liberate. I have been working within SaaS, software as a service, for the past 11 years, starting out working at Xero with the small businesses, mostly moving them from Excel spreadsheets to some kind of software. And then more recently, I've been working over in the UK and Ireland with Salesforce, helping a lot of their larger enterprise companies do that huge digital transformation. And we've also got Paul Matthews here, who, as I said before, is a senior functional consultant. But I'll pass it over to Paul to let himself introduce himself. If I get on the right slide, here we go.
Thank you, Jenna. I've just done that famous Zoom thing of making sure I'm unmuted okay before I start talking, before I start going on. Good morning, everybody. As Jenna said, my name is Paul Matthews. Just a brief introduction about myself and kind of how I fit in, if you like, within this webinar, just in case you're wondering why I'm here and what I'll be talking about. So I am a qualified accountant, although it very much feels in a previous life. In fact, it feels a long time ago, but yes, for my sins, and something to certainly wow people at dinner parties telling them you're an accountant. So how I arrived then, when I returned from the UK, I was working on ERP systems in the UK, where I moved over from accounting into the ERP space. I joined a Greentree partner, and I was with that Greentree partner, New Zealand Greentree partner, for just over 9 years. After leaving them, I then went and worked for MYOB. At this point, MYOB had acquired Greentree, and I worked in the professional services team within MYOB's enterprise division, which was where Greentree sat. So I was there at MYOB for about 2.5 years. And then in November 2019, as it says there, I joined Liberate IT to work as a NetSuite consultant. And as it says there in brackets, haven't looked back. So that's how I came to be here today. So highlighting my ERP experience and from an on-premise solution, a Greentree. That's fine, Jenna, you can flick it on, it's all right.
Okay, good.
It's all right. Okay, so just to highlight some of the pain points and limitations from my experience, and Claire and Aaron later on will kind of highlight maybe in a bit more detail what some of theirs were. So upgrades. Upgrades can be painful. Moving to an on-cloud solution, the upgrade process and routine is a lot smoother, a lot easier. It happens. You're told when it's going to happen. Plenty of planning. You have access to a system immediately when that release comes out, so you can test, look at it, see what the new release functions are. That just happens. So you have access to those new release, plenty of documentation, videos, therefore reducing time and potentially reducing the cost as well that this takes. Ultimately, with those upgrades proving to be painful, not always, should be said, but can be painful, this increases the cost of ownership over time, especially as you move through the product, more developments, etc. Okay, this one's pretty obvious, not remote worker friendly. Look, it's pretty obvious to say what's happened over the last 18 months, not just in New Zealand, but around the world, is that we need to keep things going. And on cloud, NetSuite certainly pushes those buttons and helps us all with that. Having joined, from a personal experience, having joined Liberate in November, just starting to get my feet under the table and we went into a lockdown, it didn't affect my work at all. On-premise solution, remote working, let's just say, is harder. I'm sure we all have our own experiences about kind of how problematic that can be. Getting data in and out of the system is challenging. So I think that probably speaks for itself. Knowing from my background and going into NetSuite, look, you couldn't compare the two in a more contrasting way. Product growth, again, on-cloud solutions as a whole, on-premise solutions, get my words right, on-premise solutions as a whole, it's not where the products are going, it's proving harder to do. You can loop it back into the upgrades, adding more functionality, getting it just takes too long. It takes too time. And again, without repeating myself, but I'm about to, going through what we've experienced over the last 18 months, we just can't stand still and wait for things to take that long to happen. And again, from my personal experience, looking at what NetSuite are doing just in the last 18 months, the releases that are coming out just kind of blew me away, really, compared to where I came from. Integrations. On-premise, it says it there. They're just difficult, time-consuming, equals expensive, and it takes a long time to get there. Whereas to introduce some terminology from a NetSuite point of view, you have suite apps, which I'll talk about in the next slide, which integrations are there, and the integrations can be installed, implemented in no time at all. And I'll talk about one of them in a moment when we move on to the next slide. Thank you, Jenna. Okay, and this was very much my mantra, I guess. The future is now with NetSuite, and where I came from. Look, these were a random bunch of thoughts, and I tried to cover not only what I talked about in those pain points and limitations, but also what I saw as an immediate thing over the last kind of 18 months within NetSuite. So within no particular order, I will move around diagram in the middle. Most of them probably speak for themselves. So it's cloud-based. As Jenna talked about before, we work anywhere. Yes, I work from home, but yes, I still work at customers. And yes, fully admit, sometimes I work from a coffee shop because it's just more convenient. I might be between things and all I need is my laptop and my mobile phone. Upgrades. So I've kind of talked about those, and we can certainly have more detailed discussions at some point if you're interested, but upgrades happen twice a year with NetSuite. What that means is everybody's on the same version at the same time. Plenty of notice, plenty of organization goes into it. Liberate have customer events, which we go through this. So it covers kind of new customers and existing customers that go through that upgrade process. But from my experience, I'm sounding a bit boring with this, it's so straightforward as to where I came from. Suite apps. So suite apps are add-ons that help you run your business without costing an arm and a leg to integrate. I think that says it all, what it needs to. And it links, if I jump across to a couple there's bank feeds, for example. Bank feeds are available in NetSuite, have been since the beginning of the year. Literally, I've set up bank feeds for a couple of existing sites in just no time at all, and up and running. And so that's no hours and hours or need to install anything and all this type of stuff. It works well. So and that's the same across the board with these suite apps. Remote working goes without saying, linked into the cloud-based option above. Dashboards. So again, we get into a couple of ones that are close to my heart, I guess, because I know there've been pain points before. So I'm certainly going to talk about the upside of these. Dashboards. I mean, the look and feel of NetSuite. I know we always shouldn't talk about how it looks because it's what it's doing, it's what it's providing is the key. But dashboards are so much more configurable, giving you some really good KPIs across the business. From the implementations I've done so far, me personally been quite blown away by that. Mobile. Hey, we've got NetSuite runs on your smartphone. I know we're all glued to our smartphones. So, hey, you can do a bit of NetSuite on there as well. Including expenses, one close to my heart, obviously. And again, the other one, the last one there on the right, consultancy costs. Again, linked into the cloud-based and the remote working. Look, I'm with everybody else. I don't want to spend hours sitting in traffic to then turn up at a customer. And obviously, I'm always more than happy to go on site and talk to people and work. But, I can jump on, do some work, jump off, talk to the customer about what I've done, why it's done, what the issue is, or how we plan to go forward. And it's, look, no, it just saves so much time, stress, and it's a more productive outcome at the end of the day. And less on-site visits means, although we're still available, we're always available, it does bring the cost down because we're jumping on, doing the work and jumping off, and there it is. As Jenna has said, Q&A, jump in there. I'm happy to answer any questions from my point of, from my aspect on this webinar, but thanks for your time and attendance and listening to my voice. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Now I see some questions coming in. As always, when you're doing something live, however, technical difficulties, I can't actually get into the chat box, but I will keep trying to sort that out on the site and make sure I get those questions answered for you. So now we're going to jump into our customer chat with the lovely Aaron and Claire. So Aaron and Claire, thank you so much again for coming along today. We really appreciate it. Aaron Bell, the Sales and Marketing Manager at ToolWare, and Claire Harney, the Operations Manager. So guys, I guess what I might do actually is I might stop sharing this so we can make it be a bit more intimate. There we go. I guess the best place to start is just telling the audience what is ToolWare? What's your business? What's the industry? And who are your types of customers?
I can take this one. Hello, everybody. The sales manager of ToolWare Sales. ToolWare is New Zealand's largest wholesale distributor of quality hand tools and power tool accessories since established in 1970. The last 51 years, we've had to evolve and grow in how we process orders and the likes, and NetSuite has certainly helped in that. Us change our landscape of how we proceed with customers. This hasn't happened. We haven't become number one's tool supplier by accident. This has happened by partnering with solid partners, including our supply channel, and having decent systems that back that. We represent over 75 brands, which are worldwide manufacturers, with 6,000 odd lines of product. So been able to read data. I've seen someone ask the question of Paul before about Greentree versus NetSuite for running reports. For me personally, NetSuite gives you full access to all your own data, which you can run your own reports. I think if that helps anybody, that was one of my pet peeves, is having to sit down we were using ClickView under Greentree to get our reports out, and having to get someone else to actually run that report for you with your own data, whereas NetSuite gives you full access. We supply tools across many trade categories, including electrical, plumbing, automotive, engineering, hardware, and specialty stores like concrete and tool specialty stores. We're currently developing an online customer portal, which it will be integrated with NetSuite. And we went live with NetSuite in June last year. And we open, because of the countless functionality improvements for the business and our customer network. So we're currently looking to integrate the system with our website, working through that at the moment.
Awesome, cool, good to know. And you guys have gone through some massive growth, as you just mentioned. Kind of at what stage did you guys find that you were limited using Greentree and thought, okay, we need to look at something else now? Was there kind of a light bulb moment, or?
We were at the mercy of our customers. What we were finding is Greentree was quite antiquated in a lot of its functionality, and we were having to look to add bolt-ons to access things outside of Greentree's capacities. And that was also including our warehouse management system, which NetSuite has worked really well with, and Claire could probably talk a little bit more on that. The person that's asked a question about additional reporting tool, no, haven't had to use anything outside of NetSuite. Everything is working internally. So.
And I guess on the flip side, where do you think the business would be, or what would be the impact if you guys didn't change when you changed from Greentree to NetSuite?
What we have done with NetSuite and the changes that we've made have actually given us growth with a couple of key customers. If the functionality wasn't there, we wouldn't be given the opportunities. It was made very clear that the functionality that we've added has given us access to a greater market share within the customer base.
Yeah, so not even just kind of staying stagnant, you just wouldn't have given you the opportunity for growth.
Correct.
And something we hear quite a lot of being quite customer driven.
I'm currently at a customer base at the moment where we're looking at $2 million worth of extra business and taking time out to do this for you.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. we do appreciate that. Not holding up too much of your deals.
No problem.
So when you guys, and Claire, maybe this one's kind of in your court, but when you guys did decide to start having a look at what's out there, how did you come up with your list of requirements? So did each department come to you and be like, we don't like this, we need this, this and that? Is that how you came up with the requirements, or?
No, it was more around, obviously, as Aaron mentioned, we primarily had customers asking us to meet certain criteria. Not only that, but for myself, I've used NetSuite in a previous company, and coming in to seeing Greentree and ClickView and what is available, I could see the limitations that the company had with the software. And I guess what actually led to us looking into NetSuite was we received a cold call from a different New Zealand partner here. Went along and obviously took, Aaron went along and had a look at the demo, and straight away he could see how much freedom he was going to get with using a system like NetSuite. That meant we could use in-house staff to customize the requirements going forward. We did talk to some key personnel within the business around requirements needing going forward. And again, that was brought to the table when we then made contact with Liberate IT.
Right. And how did you, you kind of touched on that, but why did you decide that, Liberate was the better partner to partner up with?
So, as I mentioned, we went along to the demo. That then involved that partner coming through to ToolWare. We had around about a 2-hour discussion in regards to what we were looking to do. Then they went away and they actually drew up a proposal based on that 2-hour conversation. And from previous experience, I knew that wasn't right, that we were being overpromised, and we were certainly it was going to be under-delivered.
Yeah, neither Claire or I felt comfortable about what we were being presented by the supplier at the time. And Claire had a relationship previously with Liberate.
Yeah. Always helps.
So I could see straight away that they didn't have a full understanding. You can't get a full understanding of a business within 2 hours. You can't get a full understanding of what customization needs to be done. And not only that, but as I mentioned, customers asking us to build out certain requirements wasn't even discussed at that 2-hour proposal. So as Aaron's mentioned, reached out to Paul at Liberate, and that's where discussions happened. He brought in a professional team, and we would have had several online meetings. A demo was also given to us from Liberate IT. We had 3-day workshops to go through your entire business processes, looking at the gaps of what NetSuite couldn't do and understanding what we needed it to do, so that Liberate was then able to go away and look at how they could look at customizing that specifically for ToolWare. So you certainly get, all up, I would say, probably around 2 to 3 weeks of conversations before a proposal is even put in place or given to you. So they really take it to a professional level of understanding orders in to orders out to everything else in between.
Yeah, absolutely. What would be kind of your biggest tip you could give the audience when it comes to implementation, and what to look for and what to look out for? I guess you kind of touched on it, that it has to be quite thorough, but is there anything else, maybe something, cultural wise within the organization? Or
definitely have a clear understanding of your business processes.
Yep.
Involve your key personnel from within the business to obviously develop that plan. Have certain key people oversee different areas of the implementation. Understand, and this is the biggest one, understand how you are going to extract your data from your current legacy system. Greentree is hard to extract data. I don't know if I'm sure the participants that are here today are understanding what I'm talking about, but unless you know what that field is called, it's a needle in a haystack. You can spend hours looking for the details that you need. Other than that, clearly communicate timelines to the project team, and then basically communicate that strategy to everybody else within your organisation.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you guys have a NetSuite champion sitting within ToolWare?
That would be me.
To be clear.
Take that as a yes then. And people, for our audience listening, do you think that's something important to make sure you've got that champion?
Oh, definitely, because you're the one that works closely with your functional consultant. You're the one that gets a heap of training, and you're going to be that go-to person going forward within your company. So the support's there, the training's there, but yes, definitely have someone within your organisation that gives you the freedom to do what you want to do within your business without having to reach out to anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of speaking on that support side of things, I've heard, and I'm sure kind of Paul, you've heard the same thing, but the support from Greentree and MYOB has always been a little bit niggly, a little bit of an issue. How do you kind of compare the support that you receive from NetSuite and Liberate IT in comparison to kind of what you had before with Greentree?
Your team is fantastic. You get a follow-up, and it's not just from your customer services support side. You'll have your developers making contact with you to to go through everything. It's fully available to reach out to. So it's completely different to anything at Greentree. You're not having to wait weeks for developers to become free to help you to do what you need to have done. So you could put urgent in the subject line and you'll get a call within sort of a few hours. You know what I mean? There's no comparison.
Yeah. And with moving on to NetSuite, you touched on it before, you kind of had to wait days and pay a lot, consultants quite a substantial amount to make any changes. So have you guys at ToolWare been able to further enhance NetSuite since go live, and have you found it to be a little bit more flexible that way?
Certainly enhancement on NetSuite side. We've done some customization. This is probably talking in NetSuite language, but we've got customized fields and things that are specific to ToolWare. But I'd say the main enhancement has actually been our warehouse management system. Yep. That's a partner that we've used with you guys, which is RF Smart. It now means that we're picking all our orders using a scanner. We're packing all our orders using a scanner, but to the point that we can drill it down and say to a customer, this is what is in this box. It's made a huge impact in the way we walk through our warehouse. We can pick multiple orders in one walkthrough. It's given us a huge efficiency on the floor.
Yeah, our old system was pretty antiquated, printing, picking slips and alphanumerically running around a warehouse, where the new system has given us way more flexibility, better understanding of what stock is where, barcode scannability for getting goods in or picking and sending goods out, right down to we have a system there that we can with SSCC requirements. So you've got barcode scanning into a box 1 of 10 and confirm to the customers before sending the goods what's turning up in each box, so they can bulk receipt upon receiving their goods. This is the way of the future, and we're doing it now, which is good.
Yeah, happier staff, happier customers.
So Aaron and Claire, I guess just a general question on that. If I was listening in on this, somebody, I know it's obviously quite specific to a kind of wholesale and distribution, but somebody might go, wow, this is kind of quite a big jump you guys did. Look, let's be honest, there's always pain points. It's all, as I try to tell my kids, it's all about how you recover, not kind of, worry about kind of things that happen along the way. I guess what I'm trying to say is quite a big jump. Was there kind of huge issues, or were they kind of worked through quite quite well and kind of, because you're going through quite a change there from what you're doing?
We had a testing plan in place. We Liberate were able to put together a plan of action of what had to be tested. So again, everything was tested prior to go live, and I can't stress how important it is that you do that you do test.
That's my mantra. Yeah. Yep. It's good to hear you guys reinforce that to anybody out there.
For me, Paul, nobody likes change. So everybody works within the systems that they have at the moment and don't realise what they're missing out on until you look at other options. The changes for all staff initially were, this is not how we used to do it, and no, but this is how you do it now.
It's kind of nervous laughter, yeah.
It is, and the changes that have been put in place, there's better we can fingerprint who's done what. In Greentree, we didn't know who made price changes in the system. With NetSuite, you have a fingerprint of any transactional that's been processed.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a good point, because everything is tracked, everything. And it's not about kind of going, you did this. It's kind of going, something went wrong here. Let's not do this next time.
No, and you have the available to you at your keyboard, who's done what, when.
Yep.
And that gives you better efficiencies in talking to your customer about when something was processed, right down to where we were doing everything, like I said, on a piece of paper. We didn't know what time that went out. Your invoicing in that is in real time. Your reporting's in real time. Under Greentree, everything was 24 hours behind. You were working off yesterday's data today.
And I guess one final question before we wrap up is, and not to come across as too prying or anything, but has ToolWare seen a return on investment with NetSuite?
Oh, totally. The efficiencies that it's brought to our business, and the data that we're able to extract from our system for procurement, for reporting, for customers, it's worlds apart. And as we exited out of Greentree, it became very evident that the Greentree platform wasn't going to be supported going forward anyway. And this was really quite timely that we've made this positive change for us.
Yeah. Rumour has it. No, I'll just say rumour has it.
Well, our provider was basically confirming that. So.
Oh, okay. There we go then. Okay. Yeah, I know I've got a couple of questions that have popped through. I managed to find the Q&A box hiding in my many screens that are open. So first one is, what were some of the key customizations implemented when ToolWare moved from Greentree to NetSuite?
So what our sales team is able to do is, obviously we have a specific part number for a item, so for example, and our customer might call that an ABC and we call that a 1, 2, 3. What we're able to do now is we're actually able to use our customer SKUs to load orders without having, so that's one customization we had. We had some customization in regards to back order behavior, and that's with customers that allow back orders, customers that don't allow back orders. We had customization around, it's a lot to do with our inventory side of things, so alternative items. Gosh, there's a raft of things. Can you think of any others, Aaron?
No, everything that we had under Greentree was able to be customized under NetSuite. And then there were additional things that we had to, we've got skewing, pricing, contract pricing. There's a number of, we're able to price something dearer than list less a discount under NetSuite, where we didn't have that availability under Greentree, where a customer is asked for a higher rebate on an item they want to pay more for, so it's not given away at a store level. So
we can also do promotional activity regionally. North Island, South Island. You could. There's a lot of freedom around the pricing module that we had built. Yeah, that might be a question that I'm happy to take those questions via email if someone wants to get in contact, because there's quite a bit of customization we had done.
Yeah, absolutely. And every business is going to kind of need that certain amount of customization.
It's what's unique to your business, basically.
Correct. Yeah. And one more, what is the percentage increase in costs of running NetSuite versus Greentree?
I guess that also comes down to what you need the system to do.
Yeah.
I guess licensing might be one that you'll see some benefits from.
It's a hard one to answer, because we were making additions to Greentree, which were kind of equal to the costs of working with NetSuite. NetSuite was the upgrades being twice a year, as Paul mentioned earlier, where we were running a couple of upgrades behind under Greentree and waited for a lot of testing and things before we would make any changes, so we didn't get a breakdown in our system, because we did have customization in Greentree. One of the things I'd like to point out, Paul mentioned dashboards and that earlier. I'm a great believer in the dashboards that NetSuite offers, and my team, being the sales force, really enjoy that too. They're able to use their tablets or laptops and work in real time and see what's going on in real time in front of a customer even. So
we see that in the warehouse team as well. They want to know, how many orders have I picked today? How many lines have I picked? How many lines have I shipped today? So there's a bit of that competition within the team that strive to be, I want to be the better person today. And that's the type of drilling down of reporting you can see. So I guess one of the other costs that you won't have is running anything in-house on a server. Those costs will disappear.
Yep.
So again, if you want to reach out, I'm happy to take any questions via email.
Great, thanks for that, Claire. So if anyone does want to have a chat to Claire offline, just let me know. I'll be emailing all of you guys, and I can put you in contact with Claire. But that's kind of sums us up today. Unless there's any further questions that come through. Claire, Aaron, I just want to thank you for your time again today. Paul, thank you very much. And for our audience, I really hope that you got something out of today. I'm always at the other end of the phone or of a screen to just, as I said, open up and start having that broad conversation about what using the cloud or NetSuite in particular could look like in your organisation. So feel free to reach out to me. And we're more than happy also to do more of a one-on-one personalised session with you guys as well, where we can actually start talking about your specific business requirements as well. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
No problem. Thanks, Jenna.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks for your time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
We hope this video gave you the information you were after. If you have any further questions, get in touch with us using the links in the description. At Liberate IT, we can provide free consulting to understand your business system requirements, understand your company growth plans, and provide free NetSuite demonstrations. For more information, visit our website.